That which taketh away the reputation of sincerity is the doing or saying of such things as appears to be signs. That what they require other men to believe is not believed by themselves. All which doings or sayings are therefore called scandalous, because they be stumbling blocks that make men to fall in the way of religion, as injustice, cruelty, profaneness, avarice, and luxury. For who can believe that he that doth ordinarily such actions as proceed from any of these roots believeth there is any such invisible power to be feared, as he affrighteth other men withal for lesser faults? That which taketh away the reputation of love is the being detected of private ends, as when the belief they require of others conduceth or seemeth to conduce to the acquiring of dominion, riches, dignity, or secure pleasure, to themselves only or specially. For that which men reap benefit by to themselves, they are thought to do for their own sakes, and not for the love of others. Lastly, the testimony that men can render of divine calling can be no other than the operation of miracles or true prophecy, which also is a miracle or extraordinary felicity, and therefore to those points of religion which have been received from them that did such miracles, those that are added by such as approve not their calling by some miracle obtain no greater belief than what the custom and laws of the places in which they be educated have wrought into them. As in natural things, men of judgment require natural signs and arguments, so in supernatural things they require signs supernatural, which are miracles, before they consent inwardly and from their hearts, all which causes of the weakening of men's faith do manifestly appear in the examples following. First, we have the example of the children of Israel, who when Moses, that had approved his calling to them by miracles, and by the happy conduct of them out of Egypt, was absent but 40 days, revolted from the true worship of the true God, recommended to them by him in setting up Exodus XXII 1:2, a golden calf for their God, relapsed into the idolatry of the Egyptians, from whom they had been so lately delivered. And again after Moses, Aaron, Joshua, and that generation which had seen the great works of God in Israel, Judges II 11, were dead. And then another generation arose, and they served Baal, the golden calf. So they didn't learn. My God, Moses was out in the desert for 40 years. And then he just left them for 40 days, and then in the 40 days they already picked a different religion. He delivered them out of slavery. He delivered them out of bondage. He delivered them out of Egypt. And where the hell did Moses go for 40 days? You're in the desert, so that 40 days is a long-ass time. Instead of worshiping anything, they should probably, worship water and go look for some damn water, right? That's what I would do. But Thomas Hobbes is showing here, just like with Moses and the chosen people who, got out of Egypt, they fell to disrepute. They fell into disrepute. They fell in with a bunch of ill reputes. And they started worshiping the false God. Not the true God, but the false God. Not the true one God, but the false many gods. Not monotheism, but many god theism. So another generation arose and served Baal, B-A-A-L, Baal, instead of just Baal, Baal. Baal. Dear Baal, things have been going pretty good. If you could give me that baseball mitt by Friday, that would be nice. Thank you, dear Baal. So that miracles failing, faith also failed. So that miracles failing, faith also failed. Again, when the sons of Samuel, 1 Sam v. I 3, being constituted by their farther judges in Bersabee received bribes and judged unjustly, the people of Israel refused any more to have God to be their king in other manner than he was king of other people, and therefore cried out to Samuel to choose them a king after the manner of the nations, so that justice failing, faith also failed, insomuch as they deposed their God from reigning over them. And whereas in the planting of Christian religion, the oracles ceased in all parts of the Roman Empire, and the number of Christians increased wonderfully every day, and in every place by the preaching of the apostles and evangelists. A great part of that success may reasonably be attributed to the contempt into which the priests of the Gentiles of that time had brought themselves by their uncleanliness, avarice, and juggling between princes. Also, the religion of the Church of Rome was partly for the same cause abolished in England and many other parts of Christendom, insomuch as the failing of virtue in the pastors maketh faith fail in the people, and partly from bringing of the philosophy and doctrine of Aristotle into religion by the schoolmen, from whence there arose so many contradictions and absurdities, as brought the clergy into a reputation both of ignorance and of fraudulent intention, and inclined people to revolt from them either against the will of their own princes, as in France and Holland, or with their will, as in England. Lastly, amongst the points by the Church of Rome, declared necessary for salvation, there be so many manifestly to the advantage of the Pope and of his spiritual subjects residing in the territories of other Christian princes, that were it not for the mutual emulation of those princes, they might without war or trouble exclude all foreign authority as easily as it has been excluded in England. For who is there that does not see to whose benefit it conduceth to have it believed that a king hath not his authority from Christ unless a bishop crown him, that a king, if he be a priest, cannot marry, that whether a prince be born in a lawful marriage or not must be judged by authority from Rome, that his subjects may be freed from their allegiance if by the court of Rome the king be judged a heretic, that a king as Childeric of France may be deposed by a pope as Pope Zachary for no cause, and his kingdom given to one of his subjects, that the clergy and regulars in what country soever shall be exempt from the jurisdiction of their king in cases criminal, who does not see to whose profit redound the fees of private masses and veils of purgatory with other signs of private interest, enough to mortify the most lively faith, if, as I said, the civil magistrate and custom did not more sustain it than any opinion they have of the sanctity, wisdom, or probity of their teachers, so that I may attribute all the changes of religion in the world to one and the same cause, and that is unpleasing priest, and those not only amongst Catholics, but even in that church that hath presumed most of Reformation. The Church of England? Is he talking about the Church of England? Catholics in the Church of England? Is that Thomas Hobbes? What are you trying to tell me?